So picking up where we left off, Miss O had broken up with me, and I found out that she was talking to her ex. And I reached out to him to get the details on what was going on. Now for Miss O, this was the ex. And we all have the ex. You know, the one that no matter how badly it ended, you still wonder what if. And no matter how poorly they treated you, you still have a fondness in your heart for him. Now he told me everything, including some things that I didn't know about their relationship. And when she found out what he said, she was shook. Because their views of their past relationships differed. And I think that's hurt her really bad. After this, everything changed. All the inappropriate conversations, all the sneakiness, all the shade just stopped. Miss O did a complete 180 in our relationship. And I believe that this is the moment that Miss O grew as a person. But unfortunately for me, this was not the moment that I grew as a person. You see, there were still two big negative things on my half. I was still married and still 600 miles away from her. And no matter how good things got, those things still held us back. And they ate at Miss O until she couldn't take it no more. And finally, she gave me an ultimatum. Either I was to get a divorce immediately, or she would exit herself from my life completely, once and for all. Now, I had explained my reservations to Miss O, how I didn't want to lose access to my daughter, because daddies don't always get treated fairly in divorces. And she tried to reassure me the best she could. You see, Miss O used to work in the legal field, but no matter any of the reassurances, those fears still hung on me, and nothing was going to shake them. And I stalled as long as I could, and I was sitting here faced with a decision: get a divorce and potentially lose access to my daughter. And mind you, this 180 in our relationship was fresh. I didn't know if our relationship was going to last, if she would revert back to the person she was, or I had to walk away from the woman I knew I loved. Literally one of my closest friends, and someone who has saved me more times than I can count. There was no easy decision, so I created a third choice. I told her that I had started the process for the divorce, and eventually got a divorce, even went as far as to fake papers. I lied to her, and the moment those words left my mouth, I knew I fucked up. But I had started a snowball rolling downhill that I couldn't stop, and I had to live that life for a very long time. And that snowball started to get bigger than I ever imagined it could. My drinking got worse and my depression got worse, because I literally hated myself. But that didn't fix anything, because I was still 600 miles away. And finally the distance just got too much for her, and we got into a fight one day and she broke up with me. And she blocked me on everything. Ironically, sometime after that, I got a call from a recruiter at JCPenney's, and I got offered a job as the asset protection manager in Evansville, Indiana. Now, originally my child and my child's mother were going to join me a year later, but I was going to make the move alone. I had no expectations that I would ever talk to Miss O again. But after I moved to Evansville, my child's mother got an opportunity that she couldn't pass up. So she stayed. When I first moved to Evansville, I lived with my mom for about a week. And after that, I got an apartment. But my first day in that apartment, I started feeling real sentimental. Reminiscing, if you will, of all the memories I shared with Miss O in Evansville. So I made a new email address, and I emailed Miss O, just to give her the respect that I finally got here. She never replied. But about an hour later, I got a knock on the door. And it was Miss O. I told y'all when I started this series this wasn't going to be a fairy tale. And trust me, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But you're going to have to wait for part 6.